In this thought provoking play, we see Mrs. Pearson and Mrs. Fitzgerald as contrasting characters. How can we say so? Mrs. Pearson is a worried, pleasant looking woman in her 40s. She speaks in a light, nervous sort of tone. However, Mrs. Fitzgerald is older in age and has a heavier and sinister personality. She smokes and has a deep voice as well. Now, what are the problems that Mrs. Pearson faces in this play? And who do you think is responsible for this state of affairs? As we have read this play, we've been able to understand that she's been devoting all her time and energy to serving her husband, son, and daughter. Do you see any change in them? Do you see them paying any attention towards her? No. They are, however, thoughtless and selfish. They go out every night to enjoy themselves, leaving her alone at home. She is no better than a servant for these people. She is herself responsible for the ill treatment and neglect shown to her. Now, how does Mrs. Fitzgerald plan to deal with the family of Mrs. Pearson? She tells Mrs. Pearson that she will deal with her family not as herself but as Mrs. Pearson. They will change bodies with each other, and Mrs. Fitzgerald would make the family taste their own medicine. That is how they do it. Now let's understand the character sketch of Doris and Cyril. Both of them are extremely arrogant, ungrateful, selfish, lazy, and they're everything that today's pampered youngsters can be. They order about their mother to get their things ready, be available for them, and not mess with their personal affairs. They are negligent towards their mother's emotional needs. The fact that she needs change too is something that they can't digest. They cannot tolerate her assertiveness and therefore consider her balmy. Now, how do you think is George Pearson treated at the club? He is a laughingstock for everybody at the club. They call him Pompey Umpy Pearson because they thought that he was slow and pompous. While his family knew about this, he was absolutely unaware of it. Now, children, let's take a look at Mrs. Pearson's objections to her family members. Doris. Mrs. Pearson thinks that she is thankless and doesn't acknowledge her mother doing twice the hard work she does. She is upset that she could not find herself anyone better than Charlie Spence, who has buck teeth and is absolutely half-witted. Cyril, on the other hand, she feels annoyed with because he orders her to keep his things ready and should remain at his beck and call. Mrs. Pearson feels neglected, or you can say that she feels ignored when he tells her not to meddle with his personal life. Now let's understand why she is miffed with George Pearson. She fails to understand why he wants to spend so much time at the club where people are always laughing at him and calling him names. She feels betrayed when he leaves his wife alone at home every evening. Now let's take a look at the title Mother's Day. How do you think it's a justified title for the play? Now the title seems to be summing up the theme of the play, and it is absolutely appropriate. The actions in the play revolve around the mother, highlights the problem the mother faces from her grown-up children and their father. With the intervention of a bold neighbor, Mrs. Fitzgerald, the meek mother racks tough with the children and makes them realize the need of proper attention towards their mother. They are given lessons in courtesy and polite behavior. The mother certainly has her day as the children learn to treat her properly. The supper being prepared by the children, their stay at home, and the family game of rummy are rare gifts that the mother receives on this important day. So children, I hope you understood everything taught to you through this video. All the